my next weapon I was thinking I would like to talk about was immortalized. And it's also a staple of one of our would-be killers, you know. If you're in Texas, you're broke down on the side of the backwoods, nowhere road, you just might run into the Hewitt family, or Bubba, or Leatherface. And he might be boasting one of these babies right here. Except mine's a Poland Pro 18-inch, which is a great little saw for chopping down trees after hurricanes, and that's great. But the problem you're gonna have with a chainsaw is always gonna be the same. It's only as good as long as it has fuel. When it no longer has fuel, it's useless. It is a paperweight. You can't do anything with it. So, use this only in case of extreme emergency. Avoid the chainsaw at all costs. Let Leatherface carry it. It's heavy, it's unwieldy, makes a lot of noise, puts off fumes, runs out of gas, and then you're dead, because you're not going to survive a horror movie using a chainsaw. Okay, next we're going to talk about two of my favorite small hand tools for dispatching would-be supernatural killers, like Jason or Harry Warden or any of them. You know, like if you're in sleepaway camp and you need to get out, something you might find that would help you out, and it would be a good weapon. And that's the best thing about it. If it's a weapon and a tool, if it has multiple uses, it's great. Like your machete, you know, your machete, it's good for getting through brush, but it's also a weapon. So, you know, it's a tool, it's a weapon. This right here, a camp hatchet, okay? Now this is a great tool for, you know, like, they come at you, okay? You can shatter windows with the back end of it. You can cut into them if they're trying to kill you. Now, forget about what you see in the movies, okay? Because you're never going to learn to throw this thing with any accuracy. It's not very well balanced. It doesn't fly right. Forget about using it as a throwing device, and if you threw it, then you don't have a weapon anymore. So you forget about throwing your hatchet, okay? But a hatchet like this, just a little camp axe, okay, comes in perfectly handy for, you know, whatever you might need it for. So never discount the little hand axe. And the nice thing is, you can hang it in your belt or stick it in your back pocket or whatever you need to do if you need to go hands-free because you got to climb or something like that. So don't forget about the hand hatchet, the little hand axe, okay? This is a great little tool. You can pry nails out. It's got a little notch in it. You can split stuff up. You can bust through a door if you have to, or you can bust out a window. So don't discount this great little tool. The other great little tool I want to talk to you about, I had in my pocket the whole time. You didn't even know it. It's a hammer. That's right, a claw hammer. Now, here's the temptation, okay? Here's where you're going to mess up, and this is why I'm doing this video, so you don't mess up, okay? You know, Leatherface has come at you, and you know, you hid from him, you're hiding in the corner, right? You're hiding like this, okay? Blah. He walks past you right here, you don't see him, he doesn't see you, right? So you think you're okay, and you want to step out, you got your hammer, and you're thinking, I'm going to bury the claw of this hammer in the back of his head, and then I'm going to run like hell. Well, that's a bad idea. You don't want to do that, okay? Don't use the hooked end in the back of your supernatural killer's head, because then what happens is you're going to leave it there. Every time, that's what happens. You're going to leave it there. So don't, because you're losing your tool. And this is a valuable tool because you can pry nails, you can pry boards, you can stick it in and pry a door open, you can pop a lock loose, you can smash windows, you can smash heads. You know, if you come up behind Leatherface, you know, you're standing there hiding here, and he walks past you here like this, right? Then what you do is you pop out and you hit him with that end. You catch him right in the back of the noggin, right? And then when he falls down, you squat over him, right? Like this. Boom, boom, boom. And you crush his skull, like we said, because no skull, no head, no killer. You're safe, okay? So don't ever discount the hammer. The problem with the hammer, like the hatchet, you got to get pretty close to your would-be killer. So just remember that. Supernatural killers, you never want to get within arm's reach if you don't have to, but in a pinch, this little baby right here will do. Now this part's going to be a little sensitive for some people, okay? Some people are not going to agree with this, but I decided that I was going to show you how very poor of a choice these next two weapons are. Because, you know, they're useless. Really, they're useless, okay? So, first off, we've got a pick, okay? Or it's actually a Maddox, but it's a pick, okay? This right here, flat end, worthless. You're not going to do any damage with it, okay? Forget about it. Pick, if you manage to sink it in your would-be killer like, we'll say, the Beast from Sweatshop is coming at you, and you bam, get it in him, you're never getting it back out. And the problem with that is that it goes in, creates a wound, like so, right? And it's sticking out of him, but it seals the wound, right? So he's not bleeding all over the place. And if you don't hit him in the heart, you know, if you hit him in the lung, he's got another one. So, you know, even against somebody, you know, and the beast is a big guy, you want to use something like this against the beast, because then, once it's in him, you're going to be trying to yank it back out, he's just going to grab you. He's just going to grab you and you're done. That's it. It's over, okay? So, remember that you don't ever want to use a pick like this. Now, let's talk about this next weapon. A splitting maul, or a splitting axe, okay? Now, a maul, you would think, would be a really, really good idea. It's big and it's heavy and it's strong. But if this thing is unwieldy to you at all when you first pick it up, put it back down, because you don't want to use this, okay? This is not a good weapon to use against supernatural killers, because, you know, they're mobile, they're moving quick, and then you gotta, and you gotta work it like a sledgehammer. And even if you try to crush them with it now, if you manage in your planning phase to set this up, you know, you pre-position it somewhere, and it manages to stay there, the killer doesn't go and get it to use it against you, and say, you know, you've got this leaning up against the building over here, right? It's leaning up against this building, right? And you're hiding here, and, okay, well, look. Okay, here's the situation, right? You lean up against the building, you take it, you lean here. Okay, so it's leaning here, and then you're hiding in this little cranny here, and then I don't want to use Leatherface again, but Leatherface. Okay, Leatherface. Or yeah, Leatherface. You're hiding here. He walks by you here, and then you pop out, right? And then you hit him, boop, with your hammer, right? So now you hit him with the hammer, and he's on the ground. Then you can grab your maul that you leaned against the wall here, and you grab it, right? You got it, and then you take that end, not this end, that end. This end could get stuck in tissue, this end, and crunch. Otherwise, avoid this thing like it's a plague. It's heavy, it's unwieldy, it's no fun to run with, you don't want to use it, it's just going to get you killed in a horror movie, so avoid the splitting maul at all costs. Okay, next up, I've got two of the most underrated weapons you can possibly have in the event that you have to deal with Victor Crowley, or maybe Leslie Vernon, or perhaps you're dealing with the likes of I wouldn't try this against like the Beast from Sweatshop, but maybe you're using it against Michael Myers. Okay, yeah, these would work. Okay, but you have to know how to use them. Okay, so these aren't just weapons. Like I said, anything you find can be. Last thing I'm going to talk about, last weapon. We've all seen one of these, and we know in the hands of Michael Myers what one of these little puppies here can do, or the Chucky doll, or whoever happens to have one, okay? But this is a kitchen tool, okay? This is not a great weapon for defending yourself against these guys with, okay? Yeah, Michael carries it. He's Norman Bates in the shower and the mother. No, we don't need to worry about this. This is not going to do you any good. This is not a good quality knife. This isn't what you want, though. And you're probably going to end up cutting yourself with it because it wasn't really made for that kind of work anyways. But, okay, what I will show you is a better knife, okay? There's a little baby like this right here. It's only got like a 6-inch blade. It's got a very thick, very thick, I don't know if you can see that, very thick kind of blade, solid tang construction, okay? And this, it's got that little finger hole there, okay? So if you stab and you're pulling out, you get your finger in there, get it back with you, okay? So this little knife, this little one here, and I hope I didn't stick that blade in there, but I did. Make sure I got myself on the way out, okay? This little one here is far superior to this big one here, because this big one, it's going to bend, okay? And yeah, it's got a solid tang, but it's very thin, very flimsy, where this is a good, solid knife. I mean, if you had to stab a supernatural killer multiple times, bam, 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 like that, then you save it, okay? And this is actually a very well-weighted knife, too. You know, it's not perfect, but if you had to, and you had a little practice, you could probably whip that baby out, and of course, little tassels on the end wouldn't help you at all, but you know, this is the knife that I would choose if I were going up against supernatural killers, okay? in a pinch. And because you could use this, if you had to, you could use it as a tool to pry open a window, maybe. Okay, you could stab, you could slash, you know, and you can conceal it. Stick it back in your pocket, run off, hope it won't fall out. Small enough, you're running. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh no, supernatural killer. Oh God, okay, but you know what? Come on, I'm gonna get you now. And he might laugh at you because you got to him, and that may be all you need.